everybody, welcome to my yarny corner. My name's Alex and this is a podcast all about knitting and crochet. So what do I normally say then? I can't remember. I hope everybody's okay. First of all, huge apologies for the podcast being a few days late. I wasn't very well last week, so I wasn't able to film the podcast. But today is Sunday the 26th of February, I believe, and it is 5 to 11 in the morning. So I'm going to get the podcast filmed this morning and hopefully this will be up on YouTube later on today, so then it would only be a few days late. Hope you're all okay and I hope you've had a lovely crafty 2 weeks. It seems like forever that I was here podcasting. I know it's only been a couple of weeks, but it seems like a really long time ago. A lot has happened in that 2 weeks. I've had some knitting dramas. I've got some finished objects. I've got a new work in progress, 2 new works in progress. Do you remember when I said on the last episode that I was going to continue to be a monogamous knitter? I was perfectly happy with just one whip. Well, that didn't happen. Oh my word, that did not happen at all. So, let me give you my excuses first as to why I had to change. So what was I working on last time? I think I was between projects, wasn't I? I was going to cast on the whatever sweater, or I was going to cast on some socks for Danny. Well, I cast on the whatever sweater and that didn't work. Because that's more of a recipe, that pattern. It's not actually a pattern, it's just a recipe. So there's a lot that you've got to figure out for yourself. And I hadn't cast on enough stitches to start with. So by the time I would have got up to the correct number of stitches, my armholes would have been down at my waist, which was not going to work. I could have rectified it and I could have gone back, but I didn't want to. So then I cast on, what was it next? The V-back tee. I cast on the V-back tee with some gorgeous, gorgeous yarn that my friend Sue bought me, and I didn't like that one either. I didn't like the design of it. It was very tight under the arms here. And again, I could have gone back and rectified it and just made it a little bit deeper here, but my heart was not in it. I also cast on some socks for Danny. They were colourwork socks, and that was a huge fail. I did the colourwork far too tightly, so they didn't work either. And to the point that was far too tight for Danny's feet, so they were a complete and utter fail. So by this point I was really getting frustrated. This was over the course of an entire week. That week after I filmed the podcast last time, this is when all this happened. So an entire week of just fail after fail after fail, and I couldn't work out what was going on. And then it dawned on me that maybe it wasn't so much, well, obviously it was a fail, but I thought maybe it's because I was between projects. I didn't really know which project I wanted to cast on, and my heart wasn't really in either of them. So I had Patron Zoom the Tuesday after, and I was telling the ladies on Patron Zoom, and Tony said, Alex, maybe you need to be doing some patterns that you've done before. How about the Mysterium tee? You've done that pattern. You can use Sue's gorgeous yarn with that pattern, and you can really enjoy it. She says, you know it fits, so just do something you've already done before. And honestly, it was the best advice. It was just what I needed. I cast on that pattern, which I'll show you in a minute after finished objects. The knitting mojo came back with a vengeance, and then I just didn't stop. I just kept on casting on. So we've got a lot to talk about today, and that's my excuse for why I'm no longer a monogamous knitter. I will be at some point. I'll change and go back to, I'm only working on one project. I did tell you it wouldn't last long, didn't I? Oh my word. So we've got some works in progress. We have a few finished objects to talk about. I'm going to be talking about the shop update at the end of the video. So if you're here for the knitting, it'll be right at the end if you don't want to stick around for that. Or if you do want to stick around for that, I can show you what yarns are going in on Wednesday. And I have just noticed when I started filming that we are at episode 50. I cannot believe we are at episode 50. How did that happen? So we're going to hold a giveaway for that as well. So should we talk about the giveaway first? let's do that. Let's do the giveaway first. So, right, 1 second. So, what should we have for the giveaway? Should we have a code word? Just put in the comment if you want to be entered into the giveaway. Tell me. Oh, I don't know. Oh, what can we have? Tell me your favourite yarn. That's a good one. If you want to be entered into the giveaway, leave a comment below and tell me what your favourite yarn is. That way we can all look at it and see what everybody's favourite yarn is. So this is going to be the giveaway prize. This is 100 grams of 4-ply yarn and it is in the colourway Seahorse. It's 400 metres, 75% superwash merino and 25% nylon. And this is it. And I will leave the giveaway open because we've got March vlogs coming up over March. I'll leave the giveaway open until the first podcast that I come back in April, which will be the first Thursday in April. So you'll have until then to enter. So just tell me what your favourite yarn is. If you don't say what you've got to say, I'm going to need a code word, aren't I? No, because I can still pick it on Alexa, and if I pick somebody that hasn't said what the favourite yarn is, I can pick again, not Alexa on a YouTube comment picker. Yeah, tell me what your favourite yarn is, and that's how I know that you want to be entered into the giveaway. So that is going to be the yarn. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's pinks and purples and blues. It's lovely. So yeah, we shall have that. That is our giveaway prize. Shall we move on to finished objects? I feel a little bit out of sorts. A, because it's a Sunday that I'm filming and I never film on a Sunday. B, because it feels like so long ago that I filmed a podcast and it really isn't, but it just feels that way. But yeah. Right, so we'll move into finished objects. I have 3. The first one that I'm going to talk about are the dustland socks that I made for Danny. I'm going to have to put a picture on the screen because he's been wearing them and they are in the wash. They are absolutely fabulous. I loved this pattern. This is the Stephen West dustland socks that is available on Ravelry. I'll link it in the description box below, but they're absolutely gorgeous and they fit him so, so well. So, excuse me, for those socks, I believe it was casting on. I can't remember actually. I can't remember how many stitches I cast on. I did the larger size for a man in those and they're absolutely lovely. The pattern was so much fun to do. It was like a 4-row pattern repeat. So you kept thinking, I'll just do the next ones and I'll just do the next ones and I'll just do the next ones. And before you knew it, the whole socks were done. It was absolutely fabulous. So I really, really enjoyed making them. They have got the heel flap and gusset in, which I really, really like Stephen West's heel flap and gusset. It's a garter stitch heel flap and it's lovely, but I really don't like making the heel flap and gusset. You all know I'm a shadow wrap heel girl. So for the next socks that I make Danny, they will not have the heel flap and gusset. It's just not something I enjoy knitting. And to be perfectly honest, they don't fit Danny as well as the shadow wrap heel. So I will be going back to the shadow wrap heel from now on. It will not stop me making any of Stephen West patterns because I will just swap out the heel for a shadow wrap heel. So it's absolutely fine. You can do that with socks. You can use whatever your favourite heel is. And I do encourage anybody that is knitting socks to try all of the heels because there's so many to choose from and you can always substitute a heel. So I will definitely be making him another pair of these because they were really fun to make and they do fit him really, really well. So that is my first finished object. I do have another finished object. So this yarn, I was a little bit naughty. It had been in the shop and it's called Chaotic Mind and nobody had bought it. So I thought we needed a sample of it. This is the Changing Staircases shawl. It's fabulous. It's a one skein shawl project. And it's absolutely lovely. This lace section, you've kind of got, I'm showing you the back, goodness me. You've got sections of stockinette and sections of lace. So because you've got the lace section in it, it really does sort of bulk out the yarn and just makes the shawl that tad bigger. You've got this gorgeous, gorgeous edging here. It's really easy. It's a free pattern as well, and it's just beautiful. I used almost the entire skein. I saved myself 10 grams, so I did finish it slightly earlier because I wanted to put some of the yarn into my C2C blanket. So I stopped at 90 grams, so I had 10 grams left, and I put some into my C2C blanket. Then I had a tiny scrap left, which I've put into some socks. So yeah, it's absolutely gorgeous. It's a small shawl that's just nice for wearing around the house, which is how I've been wearing it. Let me move you down a little bit. You feel really high there. Let me just... Ooh, don't feel dizzy. That's better. So I just wear it like that, and I've just been wearing it around the house because it's been really cold again. We're back down to 4 degrees today. It's freezing. Last week it was quite warm. It was quite nice, but no, it's freezing again now. So I've just been wearing it around the house, and I love it. It looks really nice with a little black top. Not so much with this one. It doesn't really go, but it does look nice with a little black top on. It's lovely, and I really, really like it. So I'm going to be making a few more of these. And it's nice if you've got one skein of yarn that's really special that you don't know what to do with. It's a lovely size shawl. So that is that. And I have one more finished object, which is... Do you remember that I got some yarn for Christmas from Mandy at the Mouses Makes podcast? She knows that I love giraffes. So she dyed me up a special giraffe colourway yarn, and it's a self-striping yarn. It's absolutely beautiful. I did get a little bit precious about this yarn. I did initially cast on some socks with it, and then I thought I really don't want it just in socks. So I pulled the socks back and I thought, right, I'm going to make some mitts. And then if I've got enough left, I'll make socks as well. So I decided to cast on the Show Us Your Scraps mitts by Laura Bales. It's one of my absolute favourite patterns. I really, really like it. I've made it, I think I've made 4 or 5 pairs of those mitts, but these are them. And they're absolutely gorgeous. Look at that yarn. Isn't it beautiful? So this is a paid for pattern on Ravelry. I did put some brown yarn with it just because I wanted to week out the yarn as much as I could and make sure that I've got enough for socks as well. But the pattern is lovely. Like I say, it's a paid for pattern on Ravelry. It's by Laura Bales, who is The Lonely Knitter. She also has a podcast as well. And it's just a fabulous pattern. It's really easy. It comes in 2 sizes, the small and large. I always do size large because I don't like mitts super tight. So you can see I've got a little bit of room, but that's how I like them. So I do the size large. I don't do the twisted rib on the ribbon. It is a twisted rib in the pattern, but I just do a normal 1x1 rib. And the same here. And other than that, I do everything according to the pattern. So the pattern is designed to use up scraps of yarn, little 5 gram scraps that you've got. And I've done that one twice, which is really, really lovely. With this one, because I was doing one single colour, when you do the scrappy version, there's a line, a row of, I think it's either pearl or ribbon that you do in between your colour changes. Obviously, I didn't do that because I'm just doing one colour, but the scrappy version is just as beautiful as a plain version, so I really cannot recommend that pattern enough. It's fabulous. I'm saving these for autumn, so these are going to go away now. I'm going to block them, wash them and block them because I've not blocked them yet. And I'm going to put these away for autumn. I'm going to get a little box and start popping all of my autumn things into a little box ready for September, October time. So when the time comes, I've got some lovely new hand knits to wear. So that is those. And I think that's everything for finished objects. So I was really pleased to actually have some finished objects, although they are all quite small. This one, this shawl only took a couple of days to knit. It really did only take a couple of days to knit. I think I started it last Sunday and I'd finished it on Tuesday. It was really, no. I started it last Saturday and I finished it Monday. It was a really, really quick project to knit. And the scraps are a really quick project to knit. So I've had some really nice quick projects this fortnight, which has been lovely. Do you want to know what I actually cast on? I was so bad. Right, I'm going to just lay it all out, everything that I've cast on. Actually, it's only a few, but let's talk about it. Right, 1 second. So I said that I cast on the Mysterium tee again. Let me show you the pattern. So this is the Mysterium tee. It's beautiful. Now, when I got this on Ravelry, it was a free pattern. I'm not sure if it still is. It has this rolled neckline, which the first time I made it, I wasn't sure I'd like it, but it's fine. It doesn't bother me at all. You've got a gorgeous lace section around the bottom and on the sleeves as well. It's a really, really quick knit. Because it's short sleeved, you don't get stuck on Sleeve Island. It's designed to be a boxy fit. So I am using the gorgeous yarn from my friend Sue, which is this one. This one and this one, which I really like. And I'll show you what I've got so far. I'm not massively into it at the moment. Oops. So what you do with this pattern is you start at the top and you knit down for the front, and then you pick up the stitches again along the top and you knit down for the back. And when you get so far down, you join it to work in the round. So I'm just on the back at the moment. Obviously it's curling like mad because it's all stocking stitch. So you're not going to be able to see it properly, but that is how it's looking. I really, really like it. These yarns go together so beautifully. And this is going to be a really nice, if I can pull my finger out and get on with it, it's going to be a really nice spring top because it's short sleeved. It's a nice boxy fit as well. So you've not got anything tight on. It's going to be really, really lovely. I need to pull my finger out with this. You'll see why this got left in a minute, and you'll understand totally why this got left in a minute. But yeah, it's really, really pretty. I've sort of tried, I've never really done a fade before, so I've kind of tried to fade these yarns in my own little way. I don't know if I've done a good enough job, but I think it'll be okay. And then I'm going to have this colour on the bottom. I think it's going to look really, really pretty. So I'm really enjoying that, and I do need to pull my finger out because if this gets left, I'm not going to be able to wear it, but it's lovely. Well, I am going to be able to wear it, so I'll be able to wear it in September, but it's gorgeous, isn't it? So that is the Mysterium tee. It's a really, really nice project. So that is my first work in progress. I also cast on some scrappy socks just because, for no other reason than my scrap jar is really getting full. So this is my scrap jar. And anything under 7 grams of yarn goes into this scrap jar, but it was getting over full. The yarn was sort of sticking up here, so I had to start using it. That is my excuse. So I had to start using some of the yarn. So I cast on a pair of scrappy socks. There's not a great deal to see because I only cast them on the other day. I'm doing them 2 at a time, not on the same needle, on separate needles. And I've managed to get a yarn tangle. What's going on here? Oh dear. Oh dear. I'm all tangled. There we go. Right. So that's the yarn from my shawl. I had this tiny amount left. It's the same yarn. And then I've got a black. And I've just started on this next colour. And I've got this, I think that's the Cherry Medley one from Attic Spin Dye, that colour. I had a tiny amount of it left. This is how much I've got left. So I'm just popping that one in. And all I'm doing with these is just a 2x2 ribbon. I've cast on 64 stitches and I'm just doing 2x2 ribbon all the way down the leg. Then I'll put the shadow wrap heel in and then I will do the 2x2 ribbon just on the top of the foot. So the underneath of the foot will be stocking stitch and the 2x2 ribbon will be on top. I really like rib socks because they fit so well. They do scrunch up to your feet and I really like them. I'm not sure how long I'm going to do them. It depends how much of the scrap yarn I get used because I want to use quite a bit of it. I've got so many little oddballs that I want to get used. So that is those. And the other project, which you are going to understand why I have just left all other projects. I actually cast this on, what day was it? We're on Sunday today, so it must have been Friday night. Do you want to see? It is living in my basket. Can you see the gorgeous colours? Oh, sugar, I nearly fell then. I've cast on another Lento. I love, this is the Lento sweater that I'm wearing now. This one is made out of Drops Nord and some undyed 4-ply yarn held double, which I really, really love. But I wanted another one. I wanted another Lento that was probably a striped. That's what I was thinking. So I went out on Friday and I bought some striped yarn, some Stylecraft special yarn. So this is what I bought. So this one is all Stylecraft special. This one is graphite. This one is pale rose and this one is silver. And I thought I would do a striped Lento. Initially I was going to do thin stripes, but it is knit at quite a loose gauge. And I know with this one, in certain light, you can see where I've woven the ends. So I thought if I've got too many weaving in of ends, it might be quite noticeable. So I decided to do more colour blocks, a bit like I did for the flax. So that's the look that I've gone for. Before I show you the sweater, I did 2 swatches for this because obviously this is acrylic yarn and it's DK, so I knew it would act differently. When I made this one, I got gauge on 6.5mm needles. So I tried that with this one. No, this is on 6mm needles. And this is my first gauge swatch. Now, this is 6mm needles. This is 6mm needles. And you can see they are quite different. One, they are the same number of stitches cast on. One is almost quite completely see-through. And one isn't. So this one I did and I steam blocked it and I did not like what it did to the yarn at all. Obviously when you steam block acrylic it does kind of kill the acrylic, so there's no more give or stretching in it at all. But I really didn't like what it did. It's kind of out of shape. It's not even in shape or anything. It really it ruined it. So I did another swatch on 6mm needles again. I did try swatching on 6.5mm needles initially, but the gauge was so loose I didn't like it. So I knew I would have to fix my gauge somehow. So I cast on again on 6mm needles and I got this fabric, which I really like. It's still a loose gauge, but it wasn't as bad as it was on 6.5. So I didn't get gauge on this. So then I had to do a little bit of maths to work out what size I'd need. So I needed to do a size up. So this is size 4. This is a size 3, but because I didn't get gauge on this one, I'm now knitting a size 4, just so I get the same sizing. And I really like it. And that just goes to show the difference if you steam block. I'm dropping it. Ooh, dropping stuff. Between steam blocking and wet blocking. So this one was wet blocked. And it's much nicer. This one's kind of lost everything that it had, and this is much nicer. So, and when I wash this sweater anyway, I'm going to be washing it in the machine and just laying it flat to dry, so I won't be steaming it. But this is what I've got so far. You can't really see because it's bunched up on the needles, and I've just joined in my third colour. So this is it so far. If you can hear that noise, the dog is snoring. I am so sorry. She's just there snoring away. So yeah. Oops, where am I? That way. And this is the colour that I've just joined in. I really like it. I really do like it. I think it's going to look so pretty. It actually looks nicer on camera. I was knitting on it this morning. I thought, oh, have I done the stripes too big? Should I have done more stripes than colour blocks? But no, I think I've done the right thing. I really like it. So hopefully this will fit. Like I say, I did go up a size in the sweater. Oh, can't wait till it's finished. So I've just got a few more rounds on this before I separate for the sleeves. And what I'm doing is 25 rows of colour before I change to the next colour. The top one, because the short rows on this, you can see the top one is much deeper at the back than it is at the front, because that's where the short rows are. So I am just going to knit away on that. I know that I should be picking up the Mysterium tee, but I know where this sweater is concerned, I won't. I will just keep knitting that until it's finished. I know what I'm like with this sweater. And if I do that, I might be able to get to wear it before summer kicks in. Because it's going to be quite a light sweater. It's DK, it's not over thick, but I think it's 5 inches of positive ease you put into the Lento. So it's not going to be tight, it's going to be still quite airy. And if you've just got a little vest underneath it, it's going to be fine to wear. So that's it for whips. That is everything. I'm still working on the C2C and the hexagon blanket, but I'm not going to show them all the time. The C2C is very nearly finished. There are 25 blocks to go. I thought it was 20 when I was talking to patrons the other day, but it's not, it's 25. So that's not going to be long before it's finished. And there's no point in me showing you that every couple of weeks, because you've seen one block, you've seen them all. I've no idea what yarn I'm going to put around the edging of it yet. It's the dog, she's snoring. Let me see if I can stop her snoring, bless her. Bless her. So, yes. And that is it for all the knitting content, I think. We've got March vlogs coming up next month. So that starts on Wednesday, which means there'll be no podcast during March, but I will be back in April. There may be little extra things going on. So that is happening on Wednesday. We also have the shop update on Wednesday as well. So I'm going to be showing you some yarn that's going into that. There was something else. Oh, also the advent calendars go on sale on Wednesday. So we've had a few more questions about the advent calendar, so I'm going to answer that quickly now. Somebody had asked what weight yarn it is. It is fingering 4-ply weight yarn. All the advent calendars are the same. We're not doing DK this year. It may be something we offer in the future, but not this year. It's just going to be 4-ply. And we'd had another question, which was, are the colours of the advent the picture that I've shown on Instagram and on YouTube? So I've shown like a safari type picture. No, that's not just the colours of the advent. That was just to give you an example of all the different wildlife. It's called the Wildlife Advent, and it's going to be all of the colours. Whatever kind of wildlife you can imagine, that colour will be in this advent. So it's going to have a full range of colours in it. It's not just going to be greys and browns. It's going to be a full range of colours that will flow into each other. It won't fade. It's not a fade advent calendar. But the colours will work nicely alongside each other, so you can knit it each day. The listing stays up on the website for 2 weeks, so it goes on sale on the 1st of March, and the first listing will come down on the 14th of March, and then the next listing will go up on the 1st of April till the 14th, and it'll go on like that. So the listing will stay up for 2 weeks. All the advent calendars will be shipped at the end of October. Is it October or no? No, mid-November, in time for Advent. if you're wanting to purchase an advent calendar and you're not in the UK, please contact me, because postage has gone up quite significantly, and I don't want you to purchase it until I've been through with you what the postage is likely to be. Obviously at the end of it there's going to be a lot of yarn in a box, so the postage is going to be high. We do need to discuss that, so if you're outside of the UK, please do contact me before you purchase. Last year we did it differently. I had some international customers last year and I sent the advent out in 2 halves. Because we're not doing it that way this year, we're not dyeing the advent every single month, we're dyeing the advent sort of the end of spring into summer. So we're dyeing the advent in one go, so we're not going to be able to send it out in 2 halves. So if you're international, we need to make account for that it's going to be a high postage because it's going to be a heavy box. So please contact us so we can look at postage options if you are international. And I think that was all the questions we had on the advent, I believe. There is yarn going into the shop. There is quite a lot of yarn going into the shop on Wednesday's update. Let me just move this basket back over there. So I'm going to show you now what we've got. This isn't all the yarn. There is still yarn drying. So this isn't all the yarn. I can't show you the yarn that's drying because it looks so different when it's dry to when it's wet. But I will show you some of the yarn that we've got. Some of it's labelled and some of it isn't. So this section, this lot here, hasn't got labels yet and hasn't got names yet. There are 2 of these. That's blowing out a little bit. It's like a gorgeous peach and cream. Let's blow. Oh, there we go. There we go. So there are 2 of these ones. Oh, these go really well together. Look at that. There are 2 of these ones. Oops. And these ones also go well with those 2. There are 2 of these ones. If you put all those 3 together, look at that. Aren't they beautiful? And there are 2 of these ones. So these are the ones at the moment that do not have names. Now this one is called, I've done one that's called Emerald City. I've done 2 which are called Emerald City, and this one is Danny's version of the same yarn. And this green, if I can show you mine, you see Danny's done more of a lime green to what I've done. So this one is called Emerald City 2. And I have done, oh, let me move that box. And I've done 2 with sort of like a paler green, which is just called Emerald City. There are also 2 more yarns of the one that I'm giving away. So this is the giveaway yarn that we talked about at the start, and this is called Seahorse. There are 2 more of these. We have 3 blue pineapple, such a cool name. 3 blue pineapple. I'm dropping yarn everywhere. Oh my word. Let me just, 1 second. Let me just see if I can use the lid to store the yarn on. That makes much more sense. Now, we've got 2 of these. These are my favourite, and it's my favourite name as well. These 2 are called What Does the Fox Say? And they are that pretty. It's orange and blue, really pale green and brown. It's really, really nice. So that's What Does the Fox Say? There are 3 of these, which are Sunset Safari, which are really nice jewel tones. Really, really nice. That's Sunset Safari. We have one of these, which is blue and peach, which is my favourite colour combination at the moment. This one's called Carefree, and there is just one of those. If that doesn't sell, I'm having it. There is that one. And we have one Cowboy Dreams. Because we have the Cowgirl Dreams, I wanted a Cowboy Dreams as well. So this is blue, brown and grey. It's really, really nice. And it's nice if you've got socks for a man to knit for, because it's a bit more of a manly colour than this one, for example. We have 2, I think these are already in the shop. These are called Cowgirl Dreams, which are already in the shop, which is why I wanted Cowboy Dreams. That one's already in the shop. We have 2 Elegance, which is pink and cream, which is really, really nice. It's not, I don't think this one on micro stripe, it's more of a variegated. It's really, really pretty. And then I'm not sure if this one's already in the shop or not. I should have possibly checked the shop before I showed the yarn. This is Naughty Fairy. This is one of Danny's. It's really nice. They look different because I've skeined them differently. Can you see? That's the top knot there, and that one's down here. So they look different, but they're not. That's Naughty Fairy. I don't think it's in the shop at the moment. There are just a couple of yarns left in the shop, I believe. I think this one's already in the shop. I think. Lilac Bush. No, this might not be in the shop. I don't think it is. I should have checked the shop first. But there are lots and lots of yarns going in on Wednesday. So that's happening on Wednesday at 7 PM on the website. If you are a patron and you have access to the secret shop, the secret shop opens for you on Tuesday night for 2 hours. So if you want to become a patron, there is a link on the community post on YouTube where you can find our patron. There is also a link on the website, and I think there is a link on my Instagram as well in my bio. I think there's a link there too. So I think that is everything. I don't know whether it's been a shorter episode or a longer episode or what, but I did want to come on before March vlogs started and before we got busy next week with the shop update. Because the shop update's happening on Wednesday, next week is going to be really busy, so I knew I wouldn't have time to film a podcast next week. So I just wanted to make sure I came on before March vlogs started and just thank you all just for spending a little bit of time with me. I hope that you're all okay, and if, like I say, if you want to enter the giveaway, don't forget to say what your favourite yarn is. So for those of you that are watching the vlogs, I will see you on Wednesday for day 1 of March vlogs, and if not, I will see you in a month's time for the next podcast. Hopefully the Lento Sweater and the Mysterium Sweater will be finished by then. That is the plan. The Lento and the Mysterium will be finished in March. That's not going to happen. It might do. It might do. So thank you so much, everybody, for joining me, and I will see you again soon. Bye.